And I'll just ask each one of them to introduce themselves to you before we get started. Riana, over to you.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, everybody. My name is Riana Prins. I am Head of Assessments and the Learning Management System at the IMM. And if you join us, you will experience first round, how important the LMS, your Learning Management System, is at the IMM. And I'd just like to mention all of us have our phones with us because we're all checking the WhatsApp line. So if you do see us, then it means one of us are just quickly checking what questions are coming through. Thank you for joining us.
Hi everyone, my name is Asheeqah Buccas. I am the Program Coordinator for the Postgraduate Diploma in Marketing Management. I also teach into one of the marketing modules, which is the Applied Marketing Project, and I am also supervising from an honors perspective. So if you are joining one of our postgraduate modules, I look forward to meeting you online.
Good morning, and welcome. My name is Ronald Muringai, and I'm the Program Coordinator, Postgraduate. Program Coordinator for the Buccas National Supply Chain Management Program. Also in that I'm also lecturing Supply Chain Management 1. So if you do sign up, I'll be seeing you in the next semester.
Thank you everybody. So remember our WhatsApp number there, 079 449 8165. So before we get started on everything, I wanted to just give you some information on a research piece that we did recently here at the IMM. And the title is Your Guide to the Jobs of Tomorrow. And it came up with some very interesting information. The first bit of information regarding AI is the number of new jobs created by AI, 170 million new jobs. However, also we have discovered 92 million jobs will be displaced or eliminated by the implementation of AI. So if you think of these numbers, I immediately see I've got a question here. With all this talk of AI, does it not mean our students' qualifications will be irrelevant or will need upskilling in the future?
I'll take this question if it's okay with everybody. But you can see that there's a net growth opportunity of 78 million jobs that's been created. So no, AI is not going to replace all of us, especially if we look at, the high cognitive roles where you require strategy and you require complex logistics and creative thinking. That is still critical. And we at the IMM Graduate School, we are at the engine room of business, of the economy. We are specialists in business management that's happen to focus on marketing and supply chain management. We are DHET registered, so Department of Higher Education. We are CHE accredited, Council of Higher Education accredited. So we bring to you, not just the credibility, but we really focus on those elements of strategy and complex logistics and creative thinking. And maybe if I can move on and I look at the guide or the summary of the guide that Michael has just mentioned, the top 10 skills of the future workforce are these: AI and big data, network and cybersecurity, technological literacy, etc., etc. And we help you with that creative thinking, that resilience, flexibility, and agility. We help you to always have a curious mind and to build lifelong learning. And you'll see as we carry on with our discussion today how we help you with these things. So we honestly believe that we are at the forefront of helping our students to actually prepare themselves for these future workforce.
Yeah, AI can't lead a team. Yeah,
No.
Definitely.
No.
If you are leading a team, you need to have certain soft skills and management skills that you need to lead a team.
That's true.
In line with this, Asheeqah, if you have to say, how would you describe the IMM's advantage? So I want to come and study at the IMM. What is the advantage of this?
So we are definitely an industry-preferred private higher education institution. We have the type of curriculum that we have built for our graduates looks at ensuring that we are managing the core skills that students are graduating with. And if you look at some of the stats, it shows that 39% of core skills are going to change by the year 2030. So if you're starting your degree now, as an example, you might think, okay, but in 5 years, is my degree still going to be relevant? But the type of skills that we are teaching you and the ways of thinking, building strategy, those are things that you would be able to carry through in all of your working life.
Yeah.
Additionally, if you look at some of our alumni,
Yes.
people like Peter Bauer from Mimecast or Tumisi Bopa from Spur, these are alumni of the IMM that have studied here that really have an industry advantage through the skills that we are graduating our alumni with.
Nice. I do just Spur, eh? It's people with a taste for life.
Yeah.
So I happened to meet Tumi in person last year. I attended a marketing colloquium in Cape Town, and she was the guest speaker at the event. And then during one of our tea breaks, she and I actually connected, and
Yes.
we reminiscent about her studies at the IMM Graduate School, and we started talking about the campaigns of Spur, and it was just amazing to realize how she connected what she studied and with what she's doing now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also want to add to what Asheeqah was saying. I think what also helps us from an industry preferred perspective is that we are also constantly doing research to
Yes.
keep us ahead of the pack. And not just research in our fields of business management or marketing or supply chain or the relevant fields within supply chain, but also from an edtech perspective and an education perspective to ensure that what we offer and how we offer it, that we always stay that one step ahead.
Yeah. So in line with industry preferred, I have looked at a number of adverts online when you go onto PNet and look at these things, and it literally says there, IMM preferred.
Yep.
IMM qualification preferred. Industry knows that we are marketing specialists at the
Yes.
IMM. We teach specialized skills, marketing, supply chain and business, but it literally says IMM qualification preferred, which is a great endorsement for us. Let's talk about marketing a little bit, but before we get into marketing, we mentioned one of the skills, the top 10 AI skills was technology capabilities. Does that mean our students need to be tech savvy, or what's the tie in there?
No, but can I perhaps take one step back, and
Yeah.
before I answer that question, do you mind if I just quickly run through what our qualifications are?
Yes, yes.
Cool. So I'm going to focus on marketing. So we have from higher certificate in marketing management that we offer, all the way through to a MPhil in marketing management. So we've got the higher certificate, we've got a diploma in marketing management that's far more vocational. Then we've got 2 degrees, a BBA in marketing management, as well as a BCom in marketing and management science. We then move to the postgraduate side, where we've got a postgraduate diploma in marketing management, a BPhil honours in marketing management, where there's more of a strategic research focus, and then we also have a MPhil in marketing management, which we offer. So, and linked to the higher certificate in marketing, we also have a higher certificate in project management, which we can touch on a little bit later.
Okay.
But let's move back to your question in terms of the
Being
technology
tech
side.
savvy, is it all about coding or something?
No, it's not. So remember when I mentioned to you that, one of the things is we need to teach our students to think creatively, to be resilient, to adapt with change, etc. So what we're looking at when we teach our students marketing is we need to move you from that potential to premium.
Yeah.
To do that, you need to be able to master your brand strategy and your marketing strategy, which you can only do if you know how to work with AI and big data. So we help you to become tech literate. So you're not a coder, but we help you to become tech literate so that you know how to take that data, how to take what AI has given you, take those essential tools to see how we can help you to move towards 2030. So that's where the technology side comes in.
Yes.
Because these days, if you don't know technology, you are not going to survive in any industry.
True.
And then maybe if I can add to that, our marketing qualifications are accredited with the CIM, Chartered Institute of Marketing Management in the UK. We're also recognised by the Australian Marketing Institute. And then everything we do is we're there to help you to become the best brand architect or the best marketing C-suite person that you can find in your company.
Nice, thank you for that. So it's nice to know that even if you didn't get a bachelor's qualification in matric or bachelor's pass, you can still start with a certificate.
Yes. And you can then move from the higher certificate
straight into the degree.
Yeah.
So it's not just matriculants that passed with a bachelor's pass, we also have those that passed with a certificate that can follow the same role, just starting off with a certificate.
So after 4 years, if you've studied, you started with a higher certificate and you moved to BCom or BBA, you actually, if you pass all 4 years, you could actually say after 4 years, I've got 2 qualifications already.
Yeah. So you could actually do the higher certificate in project management.
Yes.
And then go into the BCom in marketing. You've now got a project management qualification and a marketing qualification. It's nice to know. Ronald, if we think of data and supply chain, how does a marketing student, use all of this data, specifically from a supply chain point of view?
So I think it's important that we realize that all the numbers that you saw on there and what technology is doing into the job market, into the future, etc., is a cause for concern, yes, but an opportunity we see from the IMM perspective. And it's important, therefore, that even as a marketer, what we try and produce here are not marketing, supply chain only. We're trying to make you at least a holistic, well-rounded graduate. So by the time you graduate here, there's a linkage between what you've learned in marketing and you understand the basics, at least, of supply chain management. Or alternatively, if you are a student that's working or graduated or had a qualification from the supply chain perspective, you do also have the underpinning marketing qualification, philosophies as well. So we're trying to make sure, like I said earlier, that you are well-rounded in that sense. You're not just exclusively a marketer, not just exclusively supply chain. And from our supply chain perspective, I think I should also just mention that we do have high certificate in supply chain management. We've got the Bachelor of Commerce in International Supply Chain Management, and going over to the Masters of Commerce, which we'll touch on later on as well from the postgraduate perspective. But in essence, we've got a cradle to the graves kind of setup here, where, like you said earlier, you haven't gotten the bachelor pass, that's all good. Come and do the high certificate, and then you can then straight get into the Bachelor of Commerce in International Supply Chain Management. So you kind of have to have a view, an intersectory view of both disciplines, and not just exclusively supply chain management or marketing.
Okay.
Maybe if I can add to that is, in my previous career in marketing industry, and I worked in fast-moving consumer goods, for example, at some stage, it was critical for when you design or you're busy working on launching a new product, for example, or even a marketing campaign, how important it was that you deal with the supply chain management department, your procurement side, your logistics side, because you can have the best campaign in the world. If the product isn't there and you don't have the stock, it will fall completely. It will be a failure. I've given the example before that a couple of years ago, many years ago, there was a chocolate brand called Take Two, and they had these absolute amazing advertisements called all it takes is to take two, take two, take two. It was very
catchy,
like a catchy vibe, and people
we remember
were
it 30 years later.
Yes, can you believe we're dating ourselves here? But can you believe it that they ran out of stock within 3 to 4 days because marketing and supply chain never spoke with each other. And that's an example of, and the product is not on the shelves anymore. I wonder how big that impact was on that.
And moving forward, because the next time I see a new brand being launched by the same company,
Will I trust?
what's the point in even going to the shop? There won't even be stock.
There we
It'll
go.
be same as last time.
So we're talking reputational damage here, we're talking, and all of this can prevent it if we go and sell and say, we plan to launch this thing, but our demand planning our demand management has aligned with what marketing is going to say. So by the time marketing speaks and puts out a full-page advert or whatever it is that they're planning to, we also have anticipated the demand and stocked enough in the different stores so that we don't have that problem over there.
So I just see a question pop up here on the WhatsApp line from Jabu, who says, but is supply chain not just delivery?
Oh, not a chance. And I think I was just speaking to some students earlier on potential on the main campus. They're talking about, I want to study logistics because I see there's a lot of trucking involved and I like trucks.
Yeah.
Right, not just. It's so much broader than that. In essence, we're talking here, when you think of a product, favorite product, madam?
Shoes.
Shoes. She likes shoes like my wife, expensive.
Nike, let's do Nike.
Budgets.
Oh,
Nike, okay, cool. So a Nike, as you can see, when you take the shoe, has got some leather something, has got a shoelace, has got the branding, has got the rubber sole, etc., etc. In essence, what we're saying about from the supply chain perspective, we say, where are we going to get the shoelace? Who's going to get, who's supplying the rubber for us? Who's actually going to cook it and shape it into the way that it should look like? Where we get, so that's in essence from the supplier side. Then we get into the manufacturing side. Then we get into the delivery distribution side across the world. All the stores, Nike stores, and hopefully not the fake Nike stores as well. They need the products. And then ultimately, as from a marketing perspective as well, we can then talk about the push or the marketing or the branding, etc. So in essence, it's literally that entire chain, supply chain that we're talking about beyond just the transportation and the logistics aspect.
And these days it even includes when my shoes have been worn out and I now want to throw them away.
Yep.
There's now a whole recycling supply chain that's happening there.
The sustainability part of that chain
Carries on.
There we go.
So it's literally starting at the tree where the rubber comes from,
Yep.
all the way through.
Right
So-
up until, yeah.
So not just delivery.
No, beyond that. So I think that kind of gives you a picture to say when we talk supply chain, talking so much more than just. But obviously within that, there's therefore disciplines where you can then, having gotten the broader picture, decide, okay, maybe warehousing is my thing, okay, maybe transportation is my thing, okay, maybe manufacturing is my thing, but there's a whole menu, if you like, of options that you can have.
And this is the supply chain.
Yes.
And we're managing the supply chain.
There we go.
It, somebody once mentioned to me that being a supply chain manager is like being a coach of a soccer team.
Aha.
That you have different players.
Yes.
One guy's looking at it as a whole, but then there's a whole lot of different players, and each one of the players has got a different task.
There we go.
And they don't sort of get involved with the other person's role on the team, but together
they must work together. They must work together because
they
there's
work
no way
together.
the striker, for example, will score unless the midfielder passes the ball to him.
Yeah.
So we can't talk about inventory management unless we talk about transportation to bring the inventory. We can't talk about storage and warehousing if we haven't brought the stuff to the place. We can't talk about dispatch and delivery, last mile, etc. unless we've got the inventory too. You understand? So
Yes.
everything essentially is connected in that manner that you speak. And the
Yeah.
whole chain, yes, being the coach of the supply chain, but each aspect of the supply chain having its own special unique role, which again, from a career perspective, imagine when you got that supply chain qualification, you get so much more in terms of where you can then end up and working because there's just a broad variety of job descriptions that you can get in there.
So I read recently that supply chain is the first or the second biggest, fastest growing
Fastest growing, yes. I think
in the
sector.
world.
That's true. That means more job opportunities. That also means, hey, you want to get paid. I mean, who wants to work jail for Mahala, you know? We're trying to get something. We're trying to build a house and give the wife a comfortable shoes. So what we're doing in the process is to say, once you get that supply chain qualification, great, good for you, but it opens up doors for you, not just for a guaranteed career, but also one that pays enough to take care of the lifestyle that you want.
And don't you want to talk about the accreditation that we have?
Yes, we actually have a good accreditation with the Chartered Institute for Logistics and Transport, which is a global organization that looks after the transport and logistics sector. And that then gives you, we spoke about earlier on, a well-rounded individual grade for the South African market. But we're trying to say well-rounded for the global market, where we're giving you global opportunities, global connectivity, rather than just, just made for the South African market.
Yeah. And locally in South Africa or on the African continent, what about supply chain associations here?
Actually, we've got the African Supply Chain Federation that we are working with. We're also the main sponsor of the African Supply Chain Management Awards, which some of our students actually get nominated on that as well. We've got a student that won last year. So we're trying to keep an industry connectedness that works and goes over and above just providing you with the theoretical knowledge of what a supply chain management degree is. In essence, what we say is we are connecting you, we are prepping you for your graduation. On the day you graduate, get the cap, do the matrix gown thing on the great, but you are already ready to get plugged into the industry because you've seen these guys come to guest lecture. You've been on the field trips that I'll just touch on a bit later on as well, and you kind of have the connectedness that makes you a step ahead of the other graduate from the other institution.
But I just want to say, because the way Ronald carries on, it looks like supply chain is better than marketing, which is not true at all.
That's fine.
Don't fight, guys.
We're not. But we're also doing it from a marketing perspective.
Yes.
So we also go on career trips and field trips, etc., etc. And I know Ronald will speak about it a little bit later, but that industry connectedness is critical for us. And I think it's one of the things that make us stand apart from the rest, because we are connecting with industry. We're constantly asking them, are we still doing the right thing? Where are the gaps? What should we do differently?
That's it.
Yeah.
So if we think of all of these associations that we belong to and the association with industry, Asheeqah, what would you say is how does this aid a student, or what is the credibility here from a student's point of view?
I think our curriculum is not designed in isolation. So we don't just think of, this is theories that we should be covering. We actually look at what is industry looking for from a graduate perspective, what kinds of skills do they need to have, what kinds of things do they actually need to be able to do going into the role. We meet with our industry partners on a regular basis to make sure that we are keeping at the forefront of what type of graduates industry actually needs.
Yes.
And so our curriculum is built around, yes, a strong theoretical foundation, but then a very practical aspect which feeds back into what industry is actually looking for from a graduate perspective.
Yeah. So, talking about what industry is looking for, I've got a question on the WhatsApp line that Sarah is saying, if I've already studied and I've finished my qualification, is what I've learned, and we spoke about AI earlier on, not going to be almost outdated by the time I graduate? And do I have to now come back and start studying again?
I think you don't have to study again, certainly. Your qualification will still be relevant. But what you want to start thinking of about yourself is as a lifelong learner, somebody that's constantly learning new things, upskilling, or reskilling even. So for example, if you look at the postgraduate programs that we offer, on the marketing side, we have the Postgraduate Diploma in Marketing Management, but we also have the BPhil Honours in Marketing Management, and those are two quite different qualifications. So the BPhil Honours is going to give you a very structured approach, a research approach, if you want to study a specific subject, quite in depth. So very useful for a marketing graduate who wants to go to the next level. Whereas the Postgraduate Diploma in Marketing is going to give you a much broader view of marketing. So if you've studied a different field, to come into the Postgraduate Diploma, you get this really broad view of marketing, and that's very useful for someone that wants to change careers, as an example.
Yeah.
But on the marketing side, we also have, before I move on the postgraduate side, then we've got the Postgraduate Diploma in Supply Chain, which we are introducing now later on this year. We've also got the BCom Honours in Supply Chain, which is again that very theoretically research-based curriculum. We've got the Master of Philosophy in Marketing, which is marketing focused. The MCom, which we've just launched, which is very exciting, in supply chain.
And we've got a student, your first student.
Yes, just been accepted.
And Ronald is our first student. We're going to keep an eye on you, Ronald. We're also very excited to introduce our PhD, which is starting in the second semester, of which I will be the first student in PhD.
Oh.
Exciting. But from when you're studying, it's like, yes, you have an undergraduate degree and you have working experience. there's always opportunities to build your knowledge further through studying postgraduate degrees, depending on what it is you want to do. So definitely not, I wouldn't say look at your undergraduate degree as, oh, I learned that and the skills have changed. You're still going to use all of those things, but you're just going to upgrade your knowledge, if you want to call it that.
Don't you want to just please tell us about the new module that we've just launched now on the postgraduate diploma?
Yes, so we've just launched a new module which is starting this year called Applied Creative Economy Practice. It's a bit of a mouthful, however, it's a really interesting module. So we focus on the creative industries. So for example, it's not, I mean, it's applicable to everybody, but we're focusing specifically on creative industries. So let's say graphic designers, artists, jewelers, photographers, media specialists, tourism, vintners, you know, the creative industries, and looking at how do you start a business, how do you grow a business, how do you get finance, how do you manage your intellectual property, how do you create your design elements for your business. Very, very business-oriented module. I think it's going to be a really excellent module. And, you know, writing a business proposal. How would you get funders on board? What kind of funding would you look at?
Yeah.
So really providing a very well-rounded aspect to that particular postgraduate diploma, because we do digital marketing, we do brand management, we have a marketing simulation program, we do leadership, marketing metrics, and now this new creative economy practice. So it's quite a nice, well-rounded degree.
Yeah. So the assessment methodology on the postgrad diploma is slightly different to the assessments on the BPhil Honours, for instance.
Yes. So BPhil Honours will focus on your research, creating a research proposal. What do you want to study? And it's very in-depth level of research. You're going to go out and interview people on the subject, whatever it is that you're doing, write up your thesis, your research report, etc. On the postgraduate diploma, it's very practically oriented. So you will do, we do essay questions, but we do a lot of video presentations, oral presentations,
POEs,
portfolios of evidence for your digital modules. We actually ask you to create a website or design a logo or, you know, create
and you've got
emails.
your simulation program.
We have the simulation program, which is basically where you run a business in a marketing simulation with a group of students. And you make real live decisions, and you're able to see the impact on your business in real time, which is how the real world works. You know, I made this decision, it looked like a good decision, and then we crashed.
So maybe
how do we recover from that, you know?
What I hear you say is that we actually offer such a vast variety on the postgraduate level that our model is there for your professional person, but also for the person that wants to study more full-time.
Absolutely.
So, you know, how can you further your career from that perspective?
Absolutely. And lifelong learning is something that we actually should be, as humans, we should be doing that all the time, because there's always something new to learn, there's always something exciting to learn, always ways to improve the skill set that you have. So if you're not a lifelong learner, we encourage you to become a lifelong learner.
Please tell us about the academics that's involved in our postgraduate program.
When you say academics, what do you mean?
Yes.
I hear you. So we have a wide industry, a wide range of academics. So we have more than 34 academics that have doctorates. We have 6 professors in our call it stable of academics. These are people that have worked in industry, they have real world experience of the topics that they are teaching in, they have faced supply chain issues, they've come up with innovative solutions on how they resolve those problems, marketing issues, how did we resolve it, how did we come up with different solutions. So the academics that you're going to be seeing in your studies are actually really well experienced. They're also lifelong learners, they're also continuing to study. I mean, Ronald and myself, as you see, also studying this year. So, I mean, that's quite exciting as well, because students are getting a very well-rounded exposure to a variety of different kinds of academics with lots of different kinds of experience.
So, do students work in groups? Are they exposed to global groups?
Absolutely. Yes, so there's quite a few of our modules that you will be required to work in groups.
Yeah.
Group work is a part of life, and if you're in the working environment, you cannot escape that. So it's one of the skills that we do offer, learning how to work in groups, learning how to manage yourself, manage a team, etc. We've recently introduced an international collaboration with an organization called Working Across Borders, which is students from a variety of different countries, undergraduate students and postgraduate students, different fields. So we're talking South Africa, Belgium, Malaysia, Netherlands, Finland, all over. And what they do is they're placed in groups. So you get groups of different fields of study, not just marketing and supply chain. They get a brand problem that they work on in their groups, and they need to present a solution at the end of the period. I think it runs for about 5 or 6 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So last year, the problem or the brand that they worked with was Toyota Belgium, which was looking specifically at a supply chain problem, sustainability in the supply chain, specifically on the spare parts side of that chain.
Yeah.
And students were required to do research, meet in their teams, come up with solutions. They had to do a video presentation of their work. They're working across in different countries, so they had to figure out how we're going to meet, because I'm sleeping while you want to work. How do we do that? And we actually had one of the team that came second was actually mentored by one of our supply chain specialists, which is Dr. Ans van Bouillon. So that was really exciting for us as well.
Nice. Yeah.
I think just on that international aspect is something that we try and inculcate and incorporate in our studies and our qualifications as well. We talk about the BCom international supply chain management. We're really trying to say, how do you have an international, global outlook to the stuff that we're talking about here, the theoretical precepts that we're giving, how does that actually apply, not only within a South African context, not only within a Southern African context, but in a global perspective, hence the Australian accreditation, hence the SILT accreditation. It's to ensure that our students are not only bogged down in what is local, but how do we make them think and view their theoretical learnings on a global perspective, on a global scale.
Very nice. I also lecture here during the daytime on our campus, and I interact with students, and often students ask me that all of this theoretical knowledge that we've got here and the application that we do at the IMM, it's good and it's applicable. But actually, I sometimes struggle in drafting up a LinkedIn profile or a CV. And if you look at their assignments, you can see they're struggling with Microsoft Word. So I know at the IMM we developed a program called the Professional Development Program. All students that register at the IMM are automatically registered on the professional development. And Riana, a question for you. How would you describe the professional development? What is the intention of it?
Thanks, Michael. That's an excellent question. You know what, we want to build you for that lifelong learning. We realize that it's not just about you getting that one qualification or maybe 2 or 3 qualifications, but ultimately you need to become job ready. To become job ready is far more than just a degree or the higher certificate or whatever you've studied. You need to know how to present yourself. You need to know how to present content. You need to know how to sell the content. You need to understand how to do time management, work in groups, have group dynamics, because all of these are skills that you need in a work environment. It's those soft skills. It's even stuff like how do you communicate, and how do you, what I'm trying to say with that is, how do other people perceive the way you communicate? Because you can think you maybe come across as confident, other people may think you're bossy, something like that. So from day one, when you start with the IMM, you can go onto the professional development program, you start getting small little courses or small little certificates, you get a badge for something that you've completed, etc., etc. You can pick and choose what you want to do. And once you've got your badge, you put your badge and your LinkedIn profile. We help you to provide, to start building your LinkedIn profile. And I think there's 3 or 4 different levels of badges that you get to, so that you, ultimately get your professional development profile running. And this for me is something that is so important. I wish when I started studying a long time ago that I had that. And then linked to that, what we've also introduced is small little videos or small, what we call smart sheets.
Yes.
So a smart sheet on how to do Canva, how to build a PowerPoint thing, how to do your CV, how to know how to use Microsoft Word, for example. So there's a broad spectrum to that.
Yeah. So, something as simple as it shows students how to insert a table of contents in Microsoft Word.
Yes.
And when you open up a student's assignment, you can see immediately if they even know what the table of contents is. Because you can see those that are doing it manually and those that use the functionality in Word. And when you use the functionality, it's like using AI, it goes so much quicker. When you're typing chapter 1 ... and you put page 1 and then you go down and you've changed some of the information and the page numbers change. And
And I think you kind of touch on it almost just on the top level perspective, but from the theme reviews that Asheeqah spoke about earlier on, what we kind of picked up on as well from a supply chain perspective is that simple stuff like understanding how to work an Excel sheet.
Yes.
Students, graduates into the working environment don't even understand how to do that. So we are trying, and obviously to get all that input and information and try and input it into our qualifications as well, to ensure, like I said earlier on, to build a well-rounded graduate. We just don't want you to have the hard skills. We just don't want you to carry the theory into the workplace. But the soft skills that you touched upon, how do you actually work in a group? I think you touched on that earlier on as well. How do you, create a presentation that will actually, not have too much text on it? How the small, simple, soft skills, as it were, we try and keep you with those as well, so that on the day of graduation, you are not going to now start, but you're already ready to get into the job and to make an impact that actually makes a difference to the organization.
I like the tagline there, sorry Riana. Degrees get you the interview, professional development gets you the job.
That's it.
And it's those little soft skills that make the difference. Because when you at work, reports, you have to hand in a report every week, depending on your role. And as long as it looks professional, you're already one step ahead of the guy next to you that doesn't look professional.
And I still remember when I worked at ABSA, we always called it the Exco one-pager. If you can't sell your idea or your concept in one page, then you don't know what you're doing. That is something that professional development is helping you with.
We're even now doing, on our Applied Creative Economy practice, we're even asking them to do an elevator pitch, which is 30 seconds. Tell us about what are you selling in 30 seconds. If you can convince me in 30 seconds, then I'm interested in hearing more.
Yes.
That's a skill.
True. And it's a skill that you might not need right now when you graduate. But potentially in 5 years' time, when you move into your next role, that skill will be required.
But if you think about it, you've now started in a corporate, you get into the lift and the big boss is in the lift and you've got an idea. And between the time from the ground floor to the 6th floor, you've got 30 seconds. The first time you're seeing this person, the CEO, sell him, 30 seconds. How would you do it?
Definitely. I think we try also to help our students sell themselves, even as they study.
Exactly.
We do take them on field trips, for example, where they get to meet with the industry who's they kind of attend our conferences as well, and that gives them the opportunity to even try and put that into practice while still on the academic circuit, if you may. So these are skills that you can't pick up from anywhere. And I think if we compare ourselves to other institutions, this is something that we generally provide out of the goodness of our hearts to ensure that you become a better and more well-rounded graduate at the end of the thing, rather than, and in addition to that, we also have guest lecturers coming in, that are coming direct from industry to lecture and talk to our students about stuff that's happening right now in the industry industry space. So that then gives them again an opportunity, like I said, to sell themselves, but to actually hear from industry experts and what's happening right now, rather than just, this is dated text that we developed as IMM, study guide 5 years ago. No. We try and keep it as fresh and as relevant as possible so that it makes a difference to where you're going right here, right now.
Yeah.
Maybe
So-
to add to that,
Yeah.
because you've just covered a touch on the study guide concept, is that we believe that we need to constantly update our study material.
Yeah.
Because in a year's time it's outdated.
True.
So that's also something, and that's where we link to industry. What has happened in industry? What are the gaps? What are the trends that we need to bring in? But tell us a little bit more about the field trips that you were
Yes.
mentioning
Yes,
just now.
just for example, we went to Vodacom last year. Some of our students, I think, 20 of us plus minus, went to Alstom, we went to Saint Gobain. I thought you were saying Gobain, I think Saint Gobain, it's French. So things we learned on the road as well. But I think the Vodacom one was quite eye-opening for me, because I think for everybody looking at Vodacom, you would expect, just they only do cell phones and, data, etc., etc. But the cell phone, the movement thereof, the fact that one phone, for example, costs about 30 grand, you got to move a box or 10 boxes. What do you move? Essentially, we just think, we'll move it by ship or by train because, it's heavy, blah, 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 blah. But then you think, for the value of that, would you want to take the risk? So that there's a lot of thinking, with some of the precepts we teach as well from our study perspective, that you have to put into application to then do this job in the right way. Now, of course, our students, when they're thinking, we're going to be getting free iPhone 17s, no, not necessarily. But the learning and the practical insights that the students get on the floor at Vodacom, for example, is something that we can't necessarily do beyond the classroom. So we try and infuse all of that to ensure that the students, by the time they leave, by the time they graduate, they've already seen. It's not new when they step onto the warehouse. It's not new when they step onto the inventory floor. They know, because we've shown them with these field trips and the guest lecturing that we have.
I think the students that went to Nando's got some Nando's.
I hope so, not too
No,
much, I hope.
absolutely.
So it's nice going on a field trip, and in your book, we're talking warehousing, and in the warehousing, they're talking about the width of the shelf and the distance between the shelves.
Spacing between the
And
shelves.
it's got to be this. However, when you go to the actual warehouse, you can see why.
Yeah.
The pallet is a certain size. It's got to fit on the shelf, which has to be a certain size. Then the forklift comes along, and the forklift needs to turn. So the aisle
Space
needs to be a certain size. And these are things that it's you can read it, but when you see it,
that you can't forget.
now it makes sense.
Yes, you can't forget
So-
it as well.
Yeah, so it's nice to link in the field trips with,
The
guys,
content.
you remember we did this in the book? Here it is.
There you go.
So, because I think often students think, this is not real. Do they even do this stuff in real life?
So I think even if they do have that thought, we do sadly have one or two students who just want to claim, pass, forget. And we are saying, unfortunately, we are going to immerse you into these things. We're going
Fortunately,
we are going to immerse.
because that one that got crying is not going to be the one that gets the job.
Because in the long term, for your benefit, student B, you will not forget this. It's unforgettable. These are lifelong lessons that you learn and will make a difference in the way you view, but actually, more importantly, apply the content that we teach you here.
I still remember when the students went on the Nando's trip, for example, how they could experience the Nando's brand. Why are they using this kind of branding and colours and everything? So that it's not just, it's the whole experience that they are being taught from a marketing perspective. But you think, what does it really mean? Until you're there and you realise.
Yeah. I know the Stellenbosch students at our campus down in Stellenbosch also went on a field trip.
Yes.
And they went to one of the local wine farms.
We can declare they did not drink wine.
Well, they said so. And they also followed the whole process, the supply chain of what happens, because it starts literally where they're planting the grapes in the fields. So those students also managed to follow the whole supply chain of the...
up to how to sell it to that person that walks into the wine cellar to buy it.
From grape all the way to wine. Asheeqah, on the postgrad what is, from an industry masterclass point of view, are we using industry professionals in the postgrad sphere as well?
We definitely do. So we have all our lecturers in the postgrad space are either working already and they have experience, or they are lecturing full-time and they already have a lot of professional experience.
Yeah.
But we also bring in guest lecturers. We also make sure that we are bringing in relevant content. So as Ronald said earlier, not just, this is actually what's happening in the industry at this point in time. These are trends that are trending now, not 5 years ago or 2 years ago. So definitely we do have that.
Yeah, so I like to call these war stories.
Yeah,
it's like, we show them in the book, this is how, you lead, plan, organize, lead and control.
Sure.
But we get a guest speaker that comes in and says, this is how I implemented this in my organization.
Exactly.
So it's those war stories that
Or even this is a brand problem that we had.
Yeah.
This is how we approached it. This is this is a problem-solving approach. These are the teams we worked with.
Yeah.
This is some of the solutions that we came up. How do we brainstorm this? All of that is relevant because these are skills you're going to use when you go out into the workplace.
True.
And that's important because I think we've got an entrepreneurial hub as well that takes into consideration the fact that not every one of us who gets educated here is just gunning for a job.
Yes.
Somebody wants to start a business of some sort. Somebody has already started a business of some sort and they want to upskill and get the knowledgeability to. So all these war stories, as you call them, all these anecdotes that's coming directly from industry, directly from decision makers, then help our students to then actually apply when they start and kick off their businesses to make those decisions that help their businesses go forward. So that support, those ideologies and all these ideas that come through, actually going to help them when they start their businesses and
Thank you for that. I've just seen there's a question that says, I'd like to attend one of your campuses, but I don't live very close to the campus. Or I'd like to study at the IMM, but I don't live close to one of the campuses. Do we only offer on-campus content or distance?
No, that's exactly one of the reasons we've got this online session at the moment, is specifically for students that are not close to a campus or close to one of our student support centres, that they can actually see what we can do. But yes, we believe that there's no such a thing as one size fits all. We cannot just offer one, it's like my way or the highway. We have to look at the flexibility of the student lifestyle. We need to look at what we can offer that can help the student. So we've got two broad study options. The one we call blended hybrid, the other one we call distance. And in the blended hybrid environment, those will be the people that they want the routine, they want the structure, they want to have face-to-face contact. It may not be face-to-face on a campus, it may be face-to-face online. And I'll try and explain that now, where you join the campus lecture by watching it online. So it's live online, you can see what's happening in the classroom, you can see how everybody's interacting, you interact with them. So that's what we call that, almost a hybrid perspective. So you can sit in Bloemfontein or somewhere in Tuyondu, Aghanais, whatever, not close to any of our campuses, but you're still part of it. So that's the beauty, because there are people that love to get that interaction, but they just can't get there. Okay, so that's on the one side. There's live daytime lectures, but you can also watch the evening online lectures that are recorded. You can attend the revision weeks, etc., etc. On the flip side of the coin, we offer the distance option. So on distance, now you're a bit more self-paced study. You don't really want that structure routine. You don't really want to connect every day with everybody, but you still want to see what's happening in it and watch
support.
Recordings and the support. So you can attend lectures online. There's 24 hours of lectures for that group. You are watching the online evening lectures, and for those that are choosing distance, all three of the people sitting close to me are head lecturers on a module, and you will see their pretty faces, or not pretty faces, in the evening. All three of them are also, now two of them are lectures in the daytime classes. So you will see Ronald and Michael when you join the Parktown and the Groenkloof campus, for example. So there are various options. And then in the distance space, we also have a distance plus option, because those are the students that, I want to do a distance, but I need some support close to exam time. I don't really have exam techniques. I don't know how to approach this specific subject from an exam perspective. So now you've got the beauty of attending an exam preparation workshop, which is also an offer for the blended hybrid people, and you can actually get that extra support. So we offer you a vast variety of options.
Yeah. So for people that are working, they could go the distance route. People that are not working, say students that just came out of matric, could go the blended hybrid route. Then if you're living in Pofadder, you could also follow that class live, or you could take the distance option.
And
if you don't even want to watch any of them, you just watch the recording. If you don't want to watch anything, you just use your study material, because the study material is comprehensive and it will show you what content you need to cover. It indicates where you need to do some additional research.
And we've got the beauty, if you're on the blended hybrid option, that let's say you're a sportsman and you need to go and compete in a soccer match in Durban, but you actually live in Parktown area. You can attend the Durban class for that day, so that you've got that extra benefit.
So our timetable is synchronized across the country. So Business Management 1 in Cape Town, in Stellenbosch, in Parktown, in Durban, all on at exactly the same time. So like you said, you can move around the campuses and you'll be on the same schedule. Okay, so before we wrap up, we've taken you a bit through the jobs of tomorrow and the effects of AI. I wanted to just ask each person to just give us a one-liner. I know why you should study at the IMM. Why do you think students should study at the IMM, Ronald?
My perspective, I think, like we've touched on earlier on, we're not giving you just a qualification. We are giving you a well-rounded academic experience. By the time you graduate, you are ready to plug into the job market on day one. So I don't know of any other institution that gives you that opportunity. If you come specifically to the supply chain side of life, we spoke about it earlier on, being the fastest growing sector, that means your career is guaranteed, your money is guaranteed, but also gives you the option and the potential to be able to be a difference maker economically and in terms of bridging the wealth gap that we have in the country of ours.
Riana, on your side, what would you say?
I would say the world doesn't really need more marketing graduates. They actually need premium brands. And I'd like to invite you to come build your premium brand at the IMM Graduate School.
Asheeqah, on your side, on the postgrad side?
I think from a postgraduate perspective, if you've been thinking about getting another degree, you shouldn't be thinking anymore. You should be studying with IMM.
The IMM is the place to be. So in marketing, we all know it's easier. It's the 4 Ps: price, product, place, and promotion. How do we combine the 4 Ps to differentiate ourselves from the competitors? That's all marketing is about, isn't it? When it comes to studying and getting a qualification, how do you differentiate yourself to the guy next to you at work? And coming to the IMM is, we will allow you, or you will give you the skills to differentiate yourself from the guy sitting next to you at the office.
100%.
Exactly.
So thank you, everybody. Remember our WhatsApp number, 079 449 8165. Any questions, please drop us a WhatsApp and we'll get back to you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Final
One
note,
last thing, Asheeqah.
if you are planning on registering, we are open next week, Saturday. So please come through and register if you haven't already done so. You can obviously also do it online, but if you want to come and experience our campuses, you can do that as well.
Here at the Parktown campus.
Well, any of the other campuses.
They're all open. All of the campuses will be open on Saturday next week.
But you can also come in during the week. They're here, waiting for you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
All right,
Goodbye.
thank you.
Have an awesome Saturday.
See you soon on campus.